So, thank you so much for joining me today, Kai Garvey. It is an absolute pleasure. And the hurdles we had to get through to get to this interview were not few and far between. So, thank you so much for persevering with me and being here today. It's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. So, tell us a little bit about the books that you've written.
Oh, you're breaking up. I'm sorry I couldn't hear that
Oh,
question.
no. You know what? It's the afternoon, and my internet commonly becomes absolutely trash in the afternoon because all the kids
Uh,
get home from school and jump on it. Um,
I
so
can hear you now. So,
excellent. You just let me know if I drop out. Um,
yep.
tell me a bit about the books that you've published.
My first book came out through EK Books this year. It's a picture book called Easy Peasy,
Beautiful.
and it follows Ruby, who gets a pair of roller skates for her birthday, and just the journey of learning how to ride skates while wanting to be independent.
Oh, lovely. And that can be very tricky with young kids because you know you can help them get to independence, but they want to be there right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Your debut novel, your debut children's book.
Yeah, it's super exciting. So I'm going through all of those first time author experiences, which is fun. So I've had a book launch and I've done a little tour of the Brisbane bookshops, and yeah, it's fun
Excellent.
Googling yourself and seeing that you're in the local libraries and things like that. So that's super fun.
So tell us a little bit about EK Books. Um,
So they're a children's book publisher that they fall under Exile Books. That's their main publishing arm, and then the children's publishing is EK Books.
mhm.
So they've got some very beautiful books out. Actually, I've been really pleased with the quality, and the experience has been enjoyable as well. Like submitting to a publisher and going through that whole experience of, yes, yes, we want to publish your book, and here's your illustrator, and now we sending you the first copy and all that sort of stuff. So it's been a really enjoyable experience.
Oh, excellent. How did they discover you?
I submitted a manuscript through. I attended a Squibby Queensland event,
Ah,
which
excellent.
is a children's writers group. They're international, but I'm a member of our local chapter, and I attended a workshop. And Anushka Jones from EK Books gave a presentation, and she gave us the opportunity to submit our manuscript to her. And I heard back in about 2 weeks, so that was pretty exciting.
Oh,
And that,
beautiful.
yeah, so it was a really good opportunity. So I recommend to all other children's authors, if you get the opportunity to go to events like that, it's a really great way to connect with editors and publishers. And sometimes you connect with the right person, and it can take you lots of places.
I was just on the Gold Coast last weekend and I gave a talk about how luck is just opportunity seized. And so you've got to
Yes,
be in the way of opportunity for luck to happen. Luck is when they trip over you, but you have to be in their way for them to trip over you. And so you
that's
going out
true.
there did
Mm.
exactly that.
Because you don't just really accidentally publish a book. You've got to you write something and then submit it, and yeah, there is a lot of work and persistence that goes into getting to where you want to go.
Mm,
Um, and you do have to be in the right place at the right time as well. And in my case, um, Anushka really loved the story because her daughter ice skated when she was growing up, and so it pulled at a heartstring for her.
oh,
Um,
excellent.
but if I hadn't gone to that event, she would never have seen that manuscript to get that emotion. So yeah, you do have to put yourself in the way of luck.
Yes, absolutely. It's so important to get out there, and I think a lot of authors think that they can hermit away everything, but those stories never get seen.
Mm.
What
And
was
the
go?
community and connection that you make with the writers community can really help you as well, um, because you don't hear of opportunities necessarily. Like, it might come into your inbox in a newsletter, but if you don't get time to read that newsletter, you'll miss it. But then someone
Yeah,
will say, oh, are you coming to this event, this is going to happen, and it
yes,
helps you get back in the way of luck again.
Yes. And that's exactly what we're fostering here at the Logan Writers Festival. My whole goal has always been like you see Brisbane and they have the Queen's. Oh, sorry. Got a jar of kimchi I've been eating today. I just knocked some of my chopsticks off. Is to help get rid of this cold. So the Brisbane has they have a whole bunch of author groups, but they have that central unit of the Queensland Writers Centre. And then the Gold Coast has the Gold Coast Writing Association. I think Redlands and Ipswich also have something similar, but the when I went down to the Gold Coast, there was just this beautiful, cohesive community that was warm and giving and excited about anything that moved. And I loved that energy. It was so good. And that's the sort of thing I've wanted to foster here in Logan for so long because we've got so many incredible authors here, but they seem to be they're just a bit scattered or disjointed from one another. And the Writers' Festival is the place where they all come together to trip over opportunity.
Fantastic. It's great
Mm,
that you're creating that for people because that's, yeah, it can be really lonely writing on your own. And also, not even you sit down and go, oh, I think I can do that, but you don't really know if you can. And so, getting feedback from other people and yeah, it kind of elevates your work a little bit as well. I think that you can connect with other writers and get feedback, and sometimes it's not even critiquing, it's just, oh yeah, that's really good. It's like sometimes you just need that nudge to go, okay, all right, I should do something with
yes.
this.
Yeah, absolutely. I there's so many authors I know that have had the same thing happen. Like they've tried to stick to one genre and it wasn't working out. They're pulling their hair out because of it. And then someone says, "Oh, but you write this really niche romance." That will absolutely go off and they're like, "Oh, I never even thought of publishing that."
Mm, mm.
Yeah. So, did
It's
you
great to get.
illustrate? Oh, sorry.
No, I didn't. Sorry, I was going to say no. It's great to get feedback from other people just to push you forward.
Mm. And it's really good to foster that relationship with people so they know everyone wants you to succeed in the
Mm.
literary community. Very rarely, I've never encountered it, but there's always room for exceptions. I've never seen someone who actively wants the other writers around them to fail. They all
No,
want the other
everybody
writers to
cheers everyone
succeed.
else on. Yeah,
Mm,
definitely. Like it's been actually a wonderful community to be part of in Brisbane. Like there's a beautiful writing community here.
we're very lucky. We're very lucky. Did you illustrate your book?
No, I'm a stick figures only illustrator. Amy Colordi was the illustrator. She's got quite a good career going with illustration. She does some great work and she really just seemed to get me. So I don't know if she Googled me or whether we just connected, but she got exactly what I was trying to say. And I couldn't imagine a more beautiful book, to be honest. I was so stunned when I opened it. I was like, oh my God, you're so
Oh,
beautiful.
oh, that moment,
Yeah.
it makes you tear up.
So a big
Oh,
thank you to Amy for that. Yeah, it's really yeah, taken the book to the next level. It's so
mm,
beautiful.
mm. Did she do the cover as well, or just the internal illustrations?
Yeah, the cover as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, she's done a beautiful job.
And what age range is your book aimed at?
For around 4 to 8 year olds. So most of the kids I've been reading the book to are a little bit little to actually have started roller skating yet.
Mm-hmm.
But do go to the rink regularly, and there's plenty of little people zipping around there. So I'm like rolling along with straight knees, and all these little kids are zipping
Oh,
past me. I'm like, how are they doing it?
As an old school rollerblader, I absolutely love to see kids getting into roller skating and rollerblading. For me, it stopped being about the dance moves that you could do with roller skates because you've got a more
Mm.
solid platform and just the absolute speed you could get with rollerblades. That was the moment for me.
It is that, yeah, that feeling of having the wind rush through your hair. I really wanted to have that in the story, like that joy, like the pure joy of skating. And I used to just love going to the rink, rolling around, bopping to the music, and just feeling
Yeah.
free. Like I really wanted
Yes.
to share that feeling, like when you reconnect with something from your childhood, it's really special. And I just wanted to be able to have that in the story.
Oh, yeah. You're taking me back because there used to be a disco roller rink where I grew up. And it was one of the few things that the kids in town could actually do for fun. And we would
Yeah.
go there. There was no phone for mum to sit on, so she would sit there the whole time and either read or be watching us, and trying to go backwards, trying to go one footed, playing limbo. All of those things were just the absolute highlight of a good childhood.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
memories.
Oh, excellent. So, what were some of the obstacles that you came up against while you were writing and while you were publishing your book?
Um, I think the submissions process can be a little bit difficult in terms of you think you've got a good story and you start submitting, but sometimes it's not quite right. But the response, you'll either get no response or just it's not fit for us at
Yeah.
it's not the right time or not the right fit for us. And so you're left kind of feeling like you're guessing a little bit on what you need to do to get published.
Yep.
And I think some of it is revision. You just have to go back and redraft and rewrite.
Yeah.
So some of it is about writing till it's, yeah, getting your manuscript right. But then not giving up. Like it's not a system where you can just submit once and you get published. Like it's a process of submitting to many publishers, and getting in front of the right people and that sort of thing. So I think it was a little, there were many times where I was like, oh, I'm just going to give up. And this manuscript is not my first picture book I've written either. So in terms of, I've got like 5 other manuscripts sitting there that I'm like, oh, they're just not right. Nobody really wants them. Is it me? And you take it so personally, which I know is silly,
Mm,
because
you can't
really it's a
help it though.
business.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, when you're writing something that's so, it's like your little baby, and then you send it off and someone will say, nope, sorry, that wasn't very good.
Yeah. And
But most responses you get are very kind as well. I should, yeah,
yes.
no one's
Yeah.
really said to me that's terrible.
I,
That's just the feeling you get in your heart.
It's unprofessional. If anyone ever turns around and says something like, oh my gosh, this is the worst piece of trash I've ever read, that's just unprofessional. You
Yeah,
have
no,
to be
no, I have
nice
not
about
had
your
responses
rejection.
like that. But it is hard when you just either don't get a response at all, or it's just a thank you but no thank you, and it's like, oh, but I really want to do this. So some of it is just about learning your craft and getting better,
Yeah.
and yeah, redrafting, and I guess also researching your publisher. Like publishers have different types of work that they publish, so you've really got to make sure that you've done some research, figure out that it's the right fit, because of course if they don't publish something that you're writing, why submit it? So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think there is quite a bit of work involved with getting published in terms of figuring it out, and it is almost like applying for a job or doing an assignment for uni where you've got to meet the criteria, and so yeah, you
Yeah.
put in the work and hopefully you find the right spot, the right home for it.
I often talk about having a level of detachment when it comes to. So, I work mostly in the self published sphere, but I think it crosses over quite well. You've got to be detached from your keywords, your cover, and your blurb. That
Mm,
has nothing to do with you. It is purely to get people to want to buy your book. And
mm,
so, I think when it comes to submissions, it's a similar thing. You've got to be detached from the submission so that you acknowledge it is purely to get a publisher to want to buy your book.
mm. And transitioning from your creative self to your business self as well, because I
Mm.
think um, because we're always fed the message of, oh, you'll never make money with your writing.
Oh, I hate that.
We
I hate
treat
it.
it like a hobby, but when we need to be treating it like a business. And so then figuring out how to do that, while like in my world, I work full time, I've got kids,
Yeah.
I'm juggling a podcast and trying to get books published. So it often just happens when I get time, but that isn't a great business model in terms
No.
of I really need to be writing a lot more and submitting a lot more. And you have a little voice in the back of your head going, oh, are you just a one hit wonder? Have you just done it once and it was an accident? And so
Oh,
trying to replicate um, success is also challenging as well, I think.
yeah.
Um, but just reminding myself to enjoy, well, this is a unique process. Like, how often do you get a book published? It
Mm.
doesn't actually happen that often. Enjoy it while it lasts.
And we get saturated as well. I think a lot of authors are surrounded by other authors, and so
Mm.
it's very easy for us to think everyone's an author. Uh,
Yeah.
there's no special story out there because everyone is clearly writing and clearly publishing and clearly finding the same levels of success,
Mm.
and it's not the case. It's not the case remotely. There's such a small percentage of people in the world that will ever publish a book and that will ever dedicate their life to following their dream. And
Mm.
so that is so special and it's so magical in that moment. It's like feeling the wind when you first learn how to roller skate.
Yes, yes. And I did, because I've just done all my bookshop visits around Brisbane. And I just did a post on my social media saying, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful visiting you. And I realized I'd been to 9 bookshops. I was like, oh, was that excessive? Maybe I'm enjoying this a little bit too much.
Oh, that's so good to
But
hear,
it was lots of
though.
fun. But I also think supporting local bookshops as well is important.
Mm,
Like they're stocking our books in their shops. It's good for the authors to go have a visit and bring some customers in as well.
yes.
And it's been really fun, like interacting with the kids as well. Like the end result, seeing kids hanging on your story and enjoying colouring in and all those sort of things. So the satisfaction of what the book is actually exists for as well.
Mm.
So I looked on the Brisbane City Council library website and they had 32 copies of my book in,
Oh,
and there were
amazing.
only 4 or 5 that were still on the shelf. I'm like, oh, so that's a lot of books out in the world with little kids who are enjoying my story. So yeah, thinking
Aw.
of the actual impact that you have, like it's one thing to write a book, but then it actually has a whole other life with the
Mm.
readers.
Mm-hmm.
So that I am enjoying that.
Oh, that's so precious. That's so beautiful. Oh, you're going to make me tear up. Oh, and I think that's part of the beauty of children's books in particular. It was not, it's not Game of Thrones that becomes a child's favorite book. Like
Mm.
it's something like one of the Dr. Seuss books, or one of mum reading Harry Potter to them, or your what was the title of your book? I don't think you said it.
Oh, sorry, easy peasy.
Easy Peasy. The Easy Peasy could be their new favorite book.
Oh,
I
that would be fun.
I had two obscure books that some people remember and some people don't, and I've emailed both of the authors, and they're both still alive, which is
Oh,
beautiful.
wow.
But the author of Dinotopia which is a gorgeous book, and it is illustrated absolutely stunningly. I never read any of the words. I just looked at the pictures as a child. And the other one was called The Haunted Castle, which was like a cut through of a castle, and you follow a journey through the castle. And both of those books are absolutely stunning. And those are the ones that I remember in my childhood. And
Yeah,
those are
they
the
stay with
ones.
they
Yeah, and you feel such a warm nostalgia to come back to them whenever you can. Um, so yeah, anyone that's watching this when we release it, make sure you put what's the book that stood out to you in your childhood? What is the book that you still remember? Put that in the comments below because we would absolutely love to know. And if you've got kids, make sure you get hold of Easy Peasy, because it
Thank
may
you.
very well be the next favourite book. Oh, thank you so much for coming today, Kai. It has been absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to hear you on your panel at the Logan Writers Festival on the 9th and 10th of
Yeah, I'm looking
June.
forward to it.
Oh, it's going to be an amazing time. I think this is going to be our best festival yet, so I am really excited to see everyone there.
This is my first panel that I've been on, so I'm looking
Aww.
forward to it. And I've already found out I know somebody else that's going to be on the panel, so I don't feel as nervous now. So,
Beautiful. Oh, who else? Who do you know?
I'll have to look up what his name is again. I only just recently met
Not
him.
Declan, is it?
No, I'm on the audio podcast
Oh, Angus?
panel, Angus.
Yes.
I just
I
met him at a voiceover course recently.
I
Um,
just emailed him. I just had an interview with him this morning, so
oh, there you go.
you'll see me in the same clothes for both interviews.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, so that makes me feel a little bit happier. I'm like, oh, I know someone on the panel. That's cool.
Excellent.
And I know a few other panelists on other panels as well. So it'll be like meeting old friends at Logan Festival.
Beautiful. Oh, that'll be amazing. And there's heaps of room to meet new friends. Everyone's going to be super friendly, so it's going to
Yeah,
be great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today, and I really look forward to seeing you there. Have a great week,
amazing.
everyone.